you go wrong with courtesy?
Give an example. Help me.
Yeah. I'm coming in early at the house. I go, there's nothing prepared. I go ahead and start dinner. Okay?
Yes.
Go in and give her a call. So take your time. You're probably in the middle of traffic. Don't rush. I got it covered. Not forgetting about her when you're thinking about you. Just doing the sweet nothings just because you care about that person.
Right.
Well-being. I really want you to have a good day. All these have a good days.
Symbolic.
Yeah. But when you give her that call, hey, I left the house this morning. I slammed all the doors walking out the door. That wasn't crazy. I know you were going to be up in 15 minutes. I'm sorry. Next time, I'm closing the door softly. I maybe throw a little towel under the door while I'm in the kitchen. You know, before I head out, hit the coffee maker before I hit the door. Just a couple steps, man.
Right.
You wind up with cheese on your burger tonight.
Well, is he gonna know? Wet cheese. Mexican wet cheese.
I like this.
I'm out of here. The Mexican wet.
Mexican wet cheese coming on.
That is what we call like one-upping, right? So just who can outdo each other in love? Who can outdo each other?
But that's intentional.
Well, it's got to be intentional. Even when you mad.
Yeah, man, that's tough.
Even when you mad.
Check it. You talking 20, 30 years, you got to come up with some new stuff.
And here's the thing.
You got to keep it coming.
And I'm going to make this point, and this is one of your questions, but I think it's important.
This is good. You got to talk about dating and relationship when you talk about parenting.
Because how we started was, where did we get our male influence?
Yeah.
He and I grew up with a mother. Neither one of us had a dad in the house, but we both had over 20-year relationships, marriages.
Wow.
And my mom is 70 and never been married.
That's
You know,
where you get those experiences from.
You see?
Yeah.
See, wait. Don't. That's something, man.
Our mom is 70 years old.
So
never
that's the thing. You just decided as a man, this is what I'm going. This is how I'm going to operate.
So whatever, from the time I was born to the time I realized I was going to take the reins of my life and have a family, she was there. She was dad on Daddy's Day. Yeah, we making calls ahead of
for sure.
You know, this is crazy. Hey, we love you, Mom.
This is crazy.
We just gave you my last one for Mother's Day,
But inadvertently,
There you go.
y'all treat y'all treat y'all wives with the same love and respect that y'all gave y'all mothers.
Right.
And that's what most of us do. When you want to man up. Now you have to want to man up.
See,
So when you take that step and you do man up, and you reflect on that, because life is nothing but experience and reflection. That's every day, by habit. We only stop at a red light because we've been shown to stop there. So as you repeat those things, that's why they're in a situation that they're in, 20 plus years without their mother, being married, and whatnot. My case, I've been with this girl since high school, so we done been through everything. We done been young and fine to forward in place. I used to have long dreads and everything.
Don't mean much that
But it's a continuous, everyday recommitment, like you said. I don't have to. I do it by default. When y'all around, that's the way I am. You get what I'm saying? I don't mind cooking. I don't mind grilling. I don't mind.
I'm on the phone with Kiana. She's like, "Can you tick? Can you come get Zoe?" And he like,
"It's natural."
It's
You get what I'm saying? My baby at night, when she 15 months, when she get up, She do not go to her mom. She come get right on the left side of her daddy's arm, and she can move the cover, and she put her arm up under me and kiss my little fat nipple. And she go.
Oh, look. You want to talk about being single? I got a whole 5'3" 10-year-old that sleep in my bed every day. Come on, man. So I know everything. Right, that's what I'm saying. I was like, listen, you big. You got it ain't cute no more. Like, like, you snoring now. You can come on. You got to do better than this. Like, and look, that's funny.
So with that, with all of this richness, what legacy do you want to leave your child? Like, what is the most important thing that you want to leave your child? I mean,
it's funny you said legacy, because that was a part of my lesson this morning at church. And I think, when you look, we don't talk about legacy, right? And I think the reason we never talk about legacy is because we don't really understand what legacy is. Legacy is anything that you produce that outlives you, that gives strength to the next generation. Come on. So in my opinion, for me and my kids, the legacy that I want to leave personally from a spiritual perspective, of them, trusting and following God, that spiritual path. Secondly, to know that they have the ability to love, because a lot of people don't think they have the ability to love.
You got it.
When you see all the negativity as it relates to relationships and stuff like that, our legacy for me and my wife is to show them this thing can last. The only thing that separates this right here is death, right? So those two things are really, important, to me right now in terms of legacy.
I concur with all that. And when that death occurs, because life is not guaranteed, I realize I still have more to give.
Right.
Yeah.
And I realized that the woman that I chose needed all that I had. Yeah.
Amen.
I didn't have to go outside my wheelbox. And she is totally different than the woman I had for 30 years.
But she feels your well
right now.
She feels your well.
Thank you, Todd.
Yeah.
Don't
worry about what's in our cup.
It's very delicious spring water. Spring water cleanses the mind. It makes interesting thoughts.
I'm out.
Yeah. I knew that I had lost, but I wasn't on empty. But I had lost, but I wasn't on empty, and I was willing to put the work in to be the man that she wanted me to be, the man that she saw me as, and whatever the man I was portraying. Now, my case was a little bit. I was grieving and trying to start a new relationship, and trying to have my son grieve his loss, and my ex-laws, my new in-laws.
Yeah.
Whole lot of
stuff.
It's a lot.
Interracial, blended. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
From the family perspective. So I can only imagine what you were going through.
I love it.
That's it.
I had 30 years of love and I was good at it.
That's right.
And apparently I was glowing when I met her, and she was like, I'm attracted to this guy. Boom. She's been in an 18-year relationship, separated from her husband. He's still in the picture now. That's a whole nother thing.
Right.
Yeah. I'm the stepdad, and the other dad's still around. Yeah. With grown kids.
Co-parent, so marrying.
Yeah. And,
co-parent.
you hear the stories and whatnot, but I didn't know. And I said, well, this could be way left or this could be way right.
Real. But y'all gonna do it together.
We're gonna do it together. And I accepted him for who he was and heard the history, but we all faced it together.
Yeah. And I'll have to speak to Crystal. Because as much as Tina thought I can do anything, right? And that's my girl, Shavon. You know, what's up, Shavon? Crystal is so cool.
Yeah.
And I can see why she's for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? She's so cool. And when we called to initially, have this conversation, like, can you be a part of this? She answered the phone. She was just cool. I'm here helping Kim.
Yeah.
Like she's so cool.
A sweet spirit about it. And I needed that.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking the way I was thinking. I was going down the F road and just talking to
hot
everything. Boy, realize you can't keep that up.
I'm glad you changed your mind on that, boy.
But I mean, that's you bring that up. Hey, he got to get his in. So
go ahead. Because we talk about legacy.
Let Todd get his.
You got your thought? You holding on to it?
I would just say legacy for me is that I would hope that the foundation I've given Elijah that he can build on to be not a better version of me, but a better version of him, with a reflection of me.
Turn it up.
Okay.
It's today.
Right? He's been Mr. Hashtag today.
And for my daughter, for Zoe, I would just want her to find somebody to love her like I love and care for, for her mother.
She watching. She watching.
That's it. You raise them right and you send them off in the world and you hope that they conquer the world. Just as I am.
The way that your family operates, and Kiana, she say pop. Let me go talk to pop about this. It's so admirable.
Yeah.
And I'm saying because y'all, we just like around the same age, we the same age, right?
Yeah.
So to see it, and I have other friends, you know what I mean, that's also operating in this, but I'm speaking to you because you're here. Let me bless your spirit. The way that you have decided to be present is notable and admirable. And they need to see you. Elijah is a star. I've always told Kiana that. You know what I'm saying? Now you have Zoe, and she is her daddy's child. They're gonna get that, like they getting it. They're getting it.
And that's all that I can want.
Yeah.
Everything else, the Lord and this human world would bless them to conquer that. So that's all that I can hope for.
Yeah. Good stuff.
You mind me interjecting just before you say what you're going to say?
Man, please. I don't even want to talk about it. Y'all making me feel terrible.
Seriously. So, and you'll see this.
This is a safe environment.
When you watch the message from today. The other thing I mentioned about legacy was that if I give my kids exactly what was given to me, I didn't do a good job. Because anything that God gives you, should multiply. And when I give it to them, they should be able to see, okay, maybe we didn't start this thing off right back then, but Daddy loved this. I'm talking about from assets to spiritual stuff, the whole nine. Yeah. They should be able to see that the legacy was there. And I want my great-great-grandchildren to know who I am, right? Because if you do that, then that means you weren't just a name. You weren't just, that's who you say great-grandfather was. What you doing right now is because of him. So leaving them with more than what I started with, or even in it.
Come on, Doc, that's where.
He just did it. You don't talk just to talk. You talk. You got something to say. He said it. There's because there's three things. I wanted to make sure that my daughter understood that as a girl and as a Black girl, her possibilities were endless.
Yeah.
Right. So that thing is me instilling confidence in her all day, every day. So she just knows, I know what she's going to run up against. I know. but I'm putting me in her, right? So you know when you run across Zuri Warren because she got the confidence of a black man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So right. My baby don't walk around with the constant confidence of the kid. She walks around with the confidence of a black man with a PhD. Baby girl, you can do anything that you want. I got your back. Don't worry about what anybody else says or does. I don't care what you want to do. You have me in your corner. You go ahead and do it. Right. So that was first things first. And then secondly, I needed for her to understand where she stood in the world historically and culturally. I need for her to understand her greatness as a descendant of Africa. You know, from a spiritual perspective, from an emotional perspective, from a physical perspective, so she can look in that mirror all day, every day, and see nothing but greatness at all times. And not on a superficial way, but be able to tell you, let me explain to you why I'm Queen Nzinga. Let me explain to you why I'm Fannie Lou Hamer. Let me explain, you know what I mean? Like, let me explain, because I know who I am and where I came from. And then third, the thing that I'm drastically failing at, I wanted her to be able to see all of the things that I didn't have. I needed for her to see a loving mother and father relationship. Now, me and her mother get along. You know, there's nothing negative between us, right? Them first 2 or 3 years after the breakup and trying to figure out co-parenting, we got all that foolishness out of the way, right? We on year 7 now of co-parenting, and you know, my daughter's like, oh yeah, mommy's cool, daddy's cool, they're cool. She watches us talk, and I make sure she sees us communicate. Sure. We communicate positively as friends, right? Right, and support each other. You know, when she has stuff going on, I make sure I show up or participate. I have stuff going on, she makes sure she's like, hey, daddy's doing this, and this is good. But I want her to see a loving relationship. Her mother's single at this point. I'm single at this point.
So what y'all waiting on?
Well, no, because we're not for each other. We're not for each other. You know, you always gotta, you gotta be friends. Yeah. But sometimes that's all that you are with somebody. It's friends, and that's cool. Like that's cool. Like, she's been my friend since the 8th grade. You know what I'm saying? That's my friend. We shouldn't have went where we went. We was friends. You know, so we're friends. I want her to see that. I want her to see me and a woman that I love so she can understand the difference between that fatherly love and that husband love. And see me supporting somebody, see me working as a team with a woman so she can understand power dynamics in a relationship. You don't need to take a back seat. If a man loves you, y'all are partners. And I can't show her that father-daughter because she know I just got her back regardless of anything. I want to model these things for her. Show how to get along with somebody when you're not getting along and making sure you're doing it for the family because the family's what's most important. Sure. I got my feelings. You got my feelings. You getting on my nerves. I'm getting on your nerves. But guess what? We have a unified mission of legacy. We're here. We are here. I know. Right. So guess what? Going to be mad. But tonight before we go to bed, we're going to work this thing on out. You exactly. Come on. That's why I love already.
I'll see you in the morning.
Right.
You turn that way,
I'll turn that way. But guess what? I'm hitting, that's like he said, I'm hitting the coffee maker for you on my way out though. Yeah. And to me because I had to work through so much of that because I never saw my mom work out those things with a man. Right. They argued and then divorced. Right?
You think that's the pattern.
Right. If you get mad and you get fed up, leave. Right? You don't work things out. You don't deal in real love. You know what? I'm tired of you. There's something better for me out there. I'm going to leave. And the value of discipline, consistency is critical for for a young black woman. And it's critical for me to show it to her. Because I can have all these victories professionally, I can have all these victories physically, and all of these great things I do for people. But it is a huge L in my life, and I recognize that I've not been able to show her that I could be great in a relationship. And that love and providing her with the balance that she needs to see. I can sit back and just and rest in being a great dad. I'm a great dad. And I can say that. Why? Because I work at it all day, every day.
Yeah.
All day. I make sure I'm always reading articles. I'm watching other people. I'm taking advice. I have no ego when it comes to being a dad because I know I'm trying to be the best that I can be for her all the time. I need her to see the other thing.
So your L is a lesson, not a loss, because you haven't given up, right?
True. I kind of have though.
So let's.
I ain't gonna lie. I kind of. Well, I say giving up, but when I look at okay, so I did.
You're not active.
All right, so wait. So I have a financial manager, right? My financial advisor. My financial advisor was like, "Sir, we got to talk," because he breaks down my money for me. He was like, "Last year, you spent $3,500 on dates. What did that get you?"
So what he's telling you is your investment
is not the proper return on investment. So when he told me, he's like, you know what we could have done with that $3,500? And he had a list. He was like, you could have gotten into Bitcoin. You could have gotten into. He was like, and you know what your returns would have been, sir? And he goes, so he don't mess around. That's why I love my financial advisor. He don't play games with me. He lets me know what time it is. So he was like, look, I need for you to get serious about dating or stop. He said, because financially,
so how did that affect you?
It went the wrong way. I was like, all right, well, let's look for 2021, 22. Let's take that date money and invest it. I ain't going on no dates. Right. So I looked at it, I'm like, you know what, you're right. The way this market is, let me just go ahead and invest in a multi-unit joint because the way St. Pete real estate is looking right now. So I'm looking at those things and I don't. I do the websites and I let my daughter run them. She does all my swiping.
No.
And you know what she does? It was so funny. Zuri's hilarious. So she's like, hey, there's just so many white men. Right? So I already know what's happening. She's just bim. Right. So I do the bare minimum. But I can be honest and state I'm not going actively out there to say
bump into love, it's all good.
If I run out of reception and I ain't run out
So let's talk about this because y'all need I gas people up, I gas myself up.
We all need gas.
You do.
Premium if you got it.
So let's talk about this. What can you give those fathers out there that really, again, I'm going back to it because I think that we get tripped up. We step on our own toes. We sabotage potential relationships because of our fears or because of we just aren't honest with our needs. Most of the time, if you are honest with a woman, she might be down, right?
But you were so I know you a black woman. I know there's black girl magic and black women are undefeated. But let me say this. Because wait. Now I can find I have the perspective.
Let me finish. That's not where I'm going. Most women will be down. I have observed men in situations where they might not be ready to go and be intentional about a relationship, right? Whether you have a child, or they're scared, or whatever the reason may be. And so, if you are honest with a woman and you tell her this is where you are, most of the time she will be extremely patient.
As a single man,
this is where I am. So I'm not ready to really. The time I'm still balancing time. I'm trying to understand what it is I need. I don't know if it's you. I don't know if it's her. I don't know. But I do know that I want to be in a relationship, right?
Okay.
So if we put all the cards on the table,
before I get where you're going. So dating is mingling. Relationship is commitment. All right. So you can't get to commitment without dating. So you that's the point. That's what y'all trying to do. Y'all already trying to get to relationships.
But you're in the middle.
So exactly. That's trying out. It's like y'all sell clothes. People gotta try them on.
Woo!
You know, that's what dating is. Now you might be dating us first four. You know what I'm saying?
Starting 5.
I got some qualities, he got some qualities. He done fucked up. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? It's gonna mingle down. And that's what it's gonna be. See, y'all you said it right now. I get to a relationship. You gotta fucking pull the car in the driveway.
Oh, wait. And no, look, single man talking. Like you say, most women, I'm telling you right now, as a single professional black man who is not toxic and crazy.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Oh, like I said, I did the therapy thing.
Like
And it's an ongoing thing at all times. Women think that they are, and they say that they are, but they are not. Let me explain something to you. 2 years ago. No, not really. 2 years ago, I took sex out of the equation. Because I realized sex messes everything up, right? Messes everything up, especially when you get it. Now, listen, no, because you got to be honest about real life situations.
Yeah.
If you're not a man, if you realize that you have sex after the first, second date, and then everything changes with the woman, you got to understand, like, guess what? You got to hold back the D because it's changing the way that things are going. Before she was fussing, now she's not fussing. She's just being quiet and all these other things. So taking that out, that's when I started to notice that women are not as ready as they say they are. When you're doing good old fashioned courting, when it's just like, let's talk. Let's go out. Let's get into these issues. Let's get into your exes, why those things didn't work out, your bitterness or your whatever, your dismissiveness, your undealt with anger from previous relationships. What you find out is a bunch of black women say, and I just say black women because that's all I think. So I'm very specific about that. So I'm not knocking black women. That's just all I know, right? So they'll say it, but they still holding on to 2 dudes they used to deal with. They still want to take the text messages and phone calls. Or they're still bitter from that dude they really, really wanted, and he left without any explanation. And you're a good man, so she's attracted to you, but she's still holding on to the bitterness from the dude she really liked that just left her hanging. Or I'm excellent professionally, but you're trash personally. And they believe that because they're so good at their job, they got so much money, they have so much going on, that they are good, that they're good. It's like, yes, you're a good employee, but you're a terrible partner.
Yeah.
And all the things that make you amazing at your job make you trash in this place with us, right? So I hear you. I truly do. But I've met some on paper fantastic black women that couldn't even handle you disagreeing with them.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Or it's like, look, I got a baby too, or also I got my son, and you're just like, look, if I'm gonna be in the picture, you do understand I'm gonna be a man to this child. Well, no, that's my son. Oh, okay. Well, then I can't be. Exactly. That's right. So it's not as simple.
You said something that you didn't even know you said. All right? You said, if y'all just tell the truth, right? You have to tell your truth too. She said, "Can you let her air?"
Why?
But you have to tell your truth too. You feel what I'm saying? So if I was coming to try to court you, try to talk to you, and you're not interested, or we do get the phone conversation and you tell me what your expectations is, and I'm not meeting those expectations, cut it in. You know, if you want me to be truthful, you got to be truthful too.
Come on.
Just don't take. Oh, I got a wife, but you know what I'm saying, she ain't really got a note.
So here's the issue.
Don't just take that.
Oh, he opened up a whole nother can.
I'm speaking up truth on both ends. I am talking
but
about
I just
truth on
want
both
to know
ends.
what you said.
So let me clarify. I'm talking about about truth on both from both ends.
But you were talking about preparation.
Right.
See, that's what I'm saying. You were speaking specifically towards, I'm prepared. This is what I want. This is what I want. However, that may be what you want, but are you ready to receive it?
Right.
Wait. No, I mean, think about that now. Wait. Like, think about it. You're a single mom. Yes, for all the reasons. You want it. But are you actually ready to receive a man? You know what I'm saying? You want all of these things, but the way your life is set up, only a kind of like a man can fit into your parameters. You want to dominate all these things. You want to control all these things. You want to have these things be your way. Guess what? A man is not going to fit in there.
Well, I honestly think, and here's the thing. You have to know you. You have to, and that's why I'm saying so truth. I'm saying you tell your truth. I tell my truth, you tell your truth, right? But that's coming, and so I'm speaking from a place of I know me, right? I made lists, right? Of how the man is going to fit. What does that look like for me? Right? What does that look like for my life? I'm hoping the man that's out there for me, making a list of what I look like in his life, right? That is so important.
That's
so when
special.
we do
Understand
present our truths to each other, you can be like, oh, can this fit? And then of course, this is with, some you gotta be open to
Well, it's all about
moving
timing
things,
too, right?
Right?
Because some of the things on your list I might not have.
And not a list of, I want him to be like this,
No.
he gotta be like this, he gotta be Gucci. No, I'm
Some
not
of
even
those,
like that.
the guy may not have hit yet, right? You might not know that because
Experiences.
you didn't do the relationship the right way first,
Mm-hmm.
and you introduced a part of the relationship that should have been saved for marriage, and now it's all about that. It's physical.
Mm-hmm.
Now
That
you
good
so
get in the
superficial. If you don't have anything, hold on, watch this. And this is the problem that you have when you don't include that. Can you talk? Can you communicate? What are we talking about? Is all this just superficial surface stuff? Can you really have a deep conversation about relationship? Can you have a deep conversation
Family
about who
history,
you are, where
pattern.
you came from,
Yes.
how you became who you are? Like, let's have a relationship or a conversation about that. Because when you add in the other component of it, that's supposed to be icing on the cake. That is supposed to be the cake.
That's
And
not
that's what-
supposed to be the cake.
That's it. If that's
Cakes are not supposed to be the cake.
Don't make a cake on the first day.
Don't make a cake.
don't get me wrong.
Look, fruits and vegetables at least.
Yeah. I ain't talking about the Steve Harvey 90 days.
Yeah, because that's arbitrary. It's really all. Well, I mean, they set those time limits because they like, okay,
Now I'm speaking from experience because I didn't have sex with my wife before we married. So I'm not saying what I think you should do because I think you should do it. I'm saying I did it.
Right.
It ain't easy, especially when you've already had it
And you know,
and you're denying.
yeah.
However, if you're talking about what increases the viability of a relationship lasting longer, and we don't talk about this, it's the abstinence of that. Because you could tell me right now you having all the sex you want. It's just sex.
Because he's right. No, I'll trade it. I'll trade you all the sex I had in the last 5 years
It's just
for a
sex.
wife.
Wow.
It's just sex.
I would trade.
Wow.
I would trade every
That's big.
sexual experience. What's that? 2021. I would trade 2016 for 2021 abstinence for a good wife today. Hands down, and it
That's
ain't
real
close.
big. So, in just you experiencing your frustrations with yourself, things not going the way that you want it to go with work or, just personally, you have this other person, you know what I mean? Co-parent, a wife, and it's frustration there. You know what I'm saying? It's days where everything is not going to go, we're not somewhere over the rainbow singing. How do you balance disagreements within co-parenting and parenting?
agreements specific to
Disagreements.
disagreements.
Mm-hmm.
How do we handle them?
How do you balance it?
I'm always right, so we don't have any.
Okay, so okay.
As a co-parent, what I think I've learned to do is who's more passionate about it.
Oh.
If this is something like after school activities and different things, like, all right, who's really pushing? Like, if I feel like she already got something in mind and she really, really pushing this thing, I'm like, all right,
You got it.
you got it. And I've started lately to feel like she's like, okay, this is a Christopher thing. Like, you know, he loves music and athletics. He wants to get it. Like, I'll let him. You know what I mean? You just got to learn balance. Balance is the way that I've seen it. You know what I mean? Pick your battles. Find the balance. You know, I can argue all day, but you know what? It's like, hey, I can see that she's really, really. I just, you know.
Yeah.
She's at 100, I'm at like 60, 70.
Yeah.
This one's you. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
What's the word you used earlier?
Courtesy.
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 So when you're talking about disagreements, courtesy says, even though I think I'm right, I know I'm right, but I'm gonna let you have this.
Yes.
I'm gonna let you have it. Because ultimately, we both have to be grown-ups at the end and say, if this don't turn out right, it's on you. If this don't turn out right and it was given to me, it's on me. Stick your chest out and take it. But courtesy says, you know what? I can't be right and I can't control everything.
Yeah.
All the time. Ooh.
That's when you get issues where, even here in St. Pete, women are dying because men want to be right and control things. Because you have to have the last word or the say-so and how everything goes, what they say is either my way or the highway. Relationships don't work like that.
Yeah.
My kids can't see me argue my wife down to make my point every time and it be my way. No.
And then go to respect her.
You're not even teaching them how to deal with.
You're teaching
you know
them how to be dominant,
There you
understanding little people.
There you go. I'm not about to back her down in the room by herself on my issue. I'm not going to back her down in front of people, in front of my kids. No. Just
And you know what? Because of that, hopefully, and I'm sure, she doesn't emasculate you on things. Like on things, she's not going to scream you down in public in front of
25 years,
people.
she has never done it. We don't even have conversations like that. If you knew my wife, you'll know she's a facial person. You know when she's upset. I look at her and I say, okay.
All right.
Love you, babe. We'll talk when we get to
You're home, right?
That's it. That's it. Because anything that comes out of her mouth or anything that comes out, probably ain't going to turn out right. And it's going to make it worse. So we wait till we get to a point where we can have a discussion and hash it out. Done. We don't argue. In 25 years, we don't argue. We do have heated discussions. When I say heated, I mean just, you know I'm mad. I know she mad, but we ain't yelling.
But you don't say
calling
things
her out
to
her
me.
name. That never, ever
There you go.
ever. And or raising my hand to her.
Oh, well, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, what is that? We don't even need to talk. Okay, but let's just say it so it can be said. Nobody at this table is abusing nobody.
Nobody.
So let's understand, Shavon JTV does
That's the
not
disclaimer.
any men. I don't know where all the cameras are. Look, I don't care how mad you get.
In this circumstance.
I don't care what we do under any circumstances. There will be no raising of the hands of the black woman in this establishment.
Any woman.
Right.
Not really.
I would say, for me and mine, is the importance and effectiveness of the family. You know, if it's something we argue about that they really, I feel like as the man of my household, really important to the family. All right, okay, yeah, all right, whatever.
You got it.
Just listen. All right.
I see you in the bed tonight.
You know, or the effectiveness of how our family runs. You know, all right, okay, you know. I'm just okay. I'm an okay person right now. All right, whatever. And I let it go. Mm-hmm. But if it's important, if I feel like it's super important to the effectiveness of this family, then I'm gonna show my dominance, and as a man, when I put my foot and my word down, even if I'm wrong and it's not the right decision, I'm gonna stand by it, and that's the decision I made because that's the decision I felt like at that time was the best case for me and my family. So that's just it. I pick and choose my battle with my wife. A lot of times I give up. Y'all know I be around there. Y'all feel like Papa sucks. Sucker sometimes.
No, we never feel that way. I don't ever feel that way. You know what?
I cook the food. I don't care if I use seasoning salt or it don't matter. You get what I'm saying?
I do not feel that way. You know what I mean? That is something I gotta speak to that.
Because y'all be over there and you don't heard me be like, all right, whatever. You get what I'm saying?
I just say he a real good man.
She smiled. I
got him. He's
a really great husband.
We ain't getting no letter saying the mortgage, man. We got 30 minutes. That's something important.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't care what seasoning you want.
I'm making you see he went ahead and got that lemon pepper.
Yeah. You ain't getting nothing.
I don't ever think that way. I don't ever think that way. Like, oh, that's
you know what they say, a superficial win is a half a victory.
Hey, where we at? I know we were over 20 minutes ago.
Yes, we have to. We have to wrap it up. We have to wrap it up.
You said an hour ago. I knew that thing started. We on 2 hours.
You have fun editing because this is all good.
Yeah. Okay, we have to wrap this up. Last thing from everybody. Word of advice. Just because I think we answered the question of and I'm not sure if we really talked about it. What's one thing you wish, from Black Father, you wish women would know? Like, you wish you knew? Leave with that. And let's leave with this other thing. If I don't want to go through that. That's too morbid. Leave something for your child. Talk to the camera. Leave it for your child, right? Right here. What would you tell your child? At this place on May 23rd, what would you tell your child? So
Children.
I'm sorry. And children.
So I'll start as what we really want to get across is that Black fathers, Black men, Black people, period, we love and cherish our kids just as much as anyone else.
That's right.
And what I would tell my kids is what I tell them every single day is that I love them, and I love them. And that's it.
Boys, you guys watched me over the years. I've tried to be there, honest, courteous, an example. I may not have all the answers. I work hard, and I love you. I may not have been there the day you were born, but when I came into your life, I realized what my responsibilities are, and I love you just like you were mine. And, you can take anything from what you've learned from me and known of me in the last these years, and duplicate the good stuff.
The good stuff.
That's good.
Oh, it's on. Go ahead, Chris.
Man. Always understand your place in the universe. There's planets and there's asteroids. Planets pull things towards them because they have a mission. They know their place in the universe. Asteroids, they go to wherever has a strong pull. Never be an asteroid. Always be a planet.
Maybe I should have. gone and then let you.
What's he gonna say?
Hold on. I forgot who I was sitting next to. Maybe I should have went. Now I'm follow that. On the tape, put me in front of this dude right here and let him go last. But real talk, if I were talking to my kids at the table and speaking to the camera, I guess, I would say that you have the capability and ability to do anything you want to do. Take all the good that you've seen me do. Don't discard the bad, but learn from it. Because my job, even in that, even when I fail, was to show you what to do and what not to do. Not even do it on my level, as my brother said earlier. Do it better than me, right? Love harder than me. You guys have seen me and your mother. None of you have not seen me and your mother together. Love harder than me. Do what God has given you to do so that you can fulfill the mission that he has you on. Not my mission for you, not your mother's mission for you, but the mission God has you on. And accomplish it because you've been given a task that I've not been given. It's yours. I love you all, wherever you are. I got kids in different countries right now, but and yeah, take that. Love you.
Our children are products of men that didn't have examples. Fathers. Women influence and surrogate uncles and brothers influencing us and coaches and whatnot. And I think we did pretty good. Been doing pretty good.
You better bring it all the way back full circle. You better bring it back full circle, Ace. See, Shavon, see, that's what a good guest to do for the whole. All the way back on. Thank you for being a mother who respected the voice of the fathers and having us here.
It's so important. It's so important.
We're not optional.
No.
That's what you saying to the kids. Can I leave that message for the sisters? I would we just left it for the kids. I would love to leave this for the sisters. Sisters, Black fatherhood is not optional.
It is necessary.
It is necessary.
Necessary. Close with that, right?
Black fathers.
Oh, fake drink.
There's a drop in there. There's a drop in there. There's a drop in the corner.
That was fun. I heard a lot.
Literally don't have to do a
What was she
closing.
talking about? What's that lady talking about?
She was trying to get
Yeah.
Your story was far. I've lived some of your story now. So each and every one of you guys, I've lived some of your story.
That was beautiful.